I think a lot of our members are younger theater companies, and they've become very entrepreneurial, very savvy, so they're making it. But if I had to rate the whole sector, I mean, I'd say it's fair to really, really, really awful. And part of the dispiriting problem is exactly what Judith was saying, is that 60 years and you get kicked out and you're struggling and going back. Well, these younger theater companies are looking ahead and just trying to imagine sustainability. It's not even a question of, oh, let's strategize, let's make our 5-year, 10-year plan. Imagining sustainability. Will we still be able to be in this space and be doing this 2 years from now? So it's awful.
We kind of shifted in October, I think, from strategic to tactical footing. Right. We're in okay shape. We're good at turning the organization around to meet crises. In a lot of ways, 3LD was born out of a major crisis on 9/11. But what happened this time around, the effects of the downturn in 2001, for example, after 9/11, we're seeing the same things that happened then over 9 months, 12 months, having happened within 6 weeks in some cases now. So it's we're in difficult shape right now, and the artists that we work with, we have about 500 artists a year come through 3LD, are also moving forward. But when you start talking about what it's going to be like 6 months to 18 months out, it looks very difficult and very different than it looked just 6 months ago.
I'm going to sound, for the first time in my life, I think, optimistic. We have 350 theaters. The largest theaters with budgets in excess of $5 million are struggling. They were the first ones to tell me they were struggling, and they have been responding very quickly. I want to give a shout out to Ann Dunning, who is here tonight, and to her partner, Nella McDaniel, and their partner, George Thorne, who's been working with Art New York for about 14 years. They taught our member theaters like here and New George's and Page 73 Productions and the present company to stay lean. They worked with Elena when she was dealing with the Theatorium and suggested that perhaps they didn't need to deal with that encumbrance of a lease and a space and just produce. Thank you, Elena. I would say that the 180 member theaters of Art New York with budgets under $100,000 a year and the 250 members of Art New York who produce in spaces that they don't own are probably the healthiest, because they don't have to worry about rent and maintenance. And let me tell you, as a landlord of 2 spaces about to be 3 in a house I own, it's a bitch. So you don't want to aspire to that. We have been teaching people, I guess we've been preparing people for what you're calling crisis. I see it as an opportunity. I don't use the word crisis except in my email file where I put all these documents called fiscal crisis, but what I really think this is, I agree with Ben, this is the beginning of a new era. We're going to look back on this as a turning point. And I'm sure Judith will agree with me that, as she said, and she was very brave and probably the first one to do this, if nobody handed her a Broadway theater, so she found a space and turned it into a place where theater was made, and that's how we got a black box. There are a lot of spaces in this city right now that are empty, that are vacant, and someone will be very smart and turn those into spaces where art can be created. And the really smart people like Ann Hamburger and Peculiar Works and Judith sometimes worked outdoors and didn't need spaces. They went site specific, and boy, that was brilliant, because your set was right there. And all you really had to worry about was the weather. Not that that wasn't anything to worry about. I would say the mental health of my membership, I'm concerned. I would start with me. It's not easy, because we are in an era where there's no history that we can look back on as a guidepost. We don't know what the when the end of the Roman era came, when the Roman Empire fell, we don't know what their theater companies did. We just know that in the Middle Ages, theater was done in churches. That may happen again, I don't know. But I do feel hopeful, and at Art New York, we're in the process of undergoing a huge reassessment And I don't think in 5 years theater's going to look like what it looks like now. I think we'll be working very differently.